Welcome back for BLERD FORCE 1 with your boys Mo and Ladi. And today we're reviewing X-Men 97, Episode 7. It's entitled Bright Eyes, coming to you from Disney+. So, what did we think about it, and should you be watching? And before we get into this review, get down there, hit like on this video. Well, Ladi, we knew it was coming. It's time for the fallout from the Genosha massacre. And it's pretty big stuff, man. The X-Men are sort of leading the rebuilding of everything. But also it's time to find out who's really pulling the strings. And Rogue goes rogue. She goes off pretty hard in this episode. And we see some wider Marvel Marvel Universe characters in this as well. But there's a lot of like political messaging going into this, but also an unexpected big bad. So, as a follow-up to episode 5, Ladi, what did you think about this episode?
Oh, I liked this episode. It was pretty good. It wasn't probably not the weakest episode of the show, which is not saying much, as in like it's a bad show. It's like the weakest episode is better than the best of a lot of shows out there. But I just got to say this real quick. Y'all need to chill out with the Cap slander. There's so many people just absolutely hating on Cap. They're just they were saying, what's the other guy? The other guy who wants to be Captain America?
You're talking about John Walker.
He's like, John Walker. He's like, just saying John Walker would have went with them. The same John.
Lies. Lies. L-I-E-S.
I'm like,
speaking of Cap, that's the biggest Cap possible right there.
I'm like, you guys.
Yeah, we gonna get to that. Yeah, I got thoughts on Captain America in this. We do see Captain America in this. That's not a spoiler. It's in the trailer for the episode. This is a big episode in the sense that there's a lot of character development. Rogue in particular. We do see the funeral of Gambit. There's a lot of emotional stuff going in this too. There's huge action too. Like the final kind of action sequence in Madripoor, where we kind of see a new breed of Sentinel that's really kick-ass, was pretty great. We got to see the X-Men in action against that. Rogue is she's flying solo, and she's taking no prisoners. As she said, forget about the heroes. You're gonna have to deal with me right now. And I'm like, go off, sister. I think overall this was a great episode. Not as thought provoking as maybe the previous episode in terms of the themes, but this very much is an episode where the world's sort of reeling and recovering from one of the worst massacres, disasters, whatever ethnic cleansings you want to call it in the history of the world. And you even have and I think I'd said this on Threads, you messed up when you got Beast out here. Instead of sounding like Martin Luther King, he sounded like Malcolm X. He pretty much, they had that Trish Tilby who we saw in episode 4 was 5 was interviewing them, trying to make a good puff piece for everyone to like the mutants. Was now here kind of as a correspondent, and you think she's sweet on Beast, and he's like fuck y'all's tolerance. Well, that's our problem. We've been trying to get y'all to tolerate us, and we ain't gonna never get it. So take your little sorry, your sorry little empathy or whatever you want to call it. You can go on with that shit. And I was like, my dude, like look at you out here getting radicalized. How you doing, man? Welcome to the party. Yeah, I have to say, seeing Genosha all fucked up and their recovery, and like this is a highly emotional bit. Did you catch that bit where Beast was talking about, and he quoted Mr. Rogers, where he says, look for the helpers? Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, I was like, that choked me up a little bit, because most people probably don't know this about me. Mr. Rogers is one of my personal heroes. Like, I'm a huge fan of him and his work. And so to hear that come come out of the mouth of a really cool and smart character in a time of tragedy was kind of like emotionally, resonant to me. I don't know if you had caught that, but it was pretty big for me.
That was a lot of stuff, man. A lot of, because it's true. I mean, everybody wants to say, uh, because we all know at the end of the day what really happened. It was mutant. It's like slightly mutant on mutant crime, but there was also humans involved. But it is like it's crazy how with what's going on. I was just saying this to my friend who I watched the episode with. They were like saying that they were saying like, oh, why are they? She was like, oh, they're so angry, and I was like, yeah, you have to understand. I said, imagine. I said, imagine if all of a sudden somebody mysteriously nuked Africa and just told us to say, hey, you shouldn't be angry. What? What?
This was
Literally
Yeah.
everybody, like the entire world should be on an absolute manhunt for this person.
But they're
But the
like,
only
yeah.
people looking for them are black people. I said
Yeah.
that, yeah.
It was like, but I mean, it was Black Wall Street. It was
Yeah.
Rosewood. It was that,
Yeah.
and everyone's like, they're sending, thoughts and prayers, but nothing else. No one's working, and we see that later on. And I do want to get to that, but I don't want to skip over Gambit's funeral, which was, I ain't gonna lie, drop some tears for that. Nightcrawler doing like the best eulogy possible. That whole little bit was super emotional. I don't know how you felt about it, but I was like, my God, like Nightcrawler is the perfect person to be talking about all of this.
Yes. Yeah, because our boy really is. It was confirmed, confirmed that that he's really gone. Slight maybe later on someone else is not gone, but he for a fact is gone because it was pretty much confirmed. Was it last episode or the episode before?
It was last episode, Professor X.
Yeah, Professor X pretty much saw, I guess, his dead brain. It was like, oh, he's dead.
Yeah,
I need to tighten up.
Yeah, it was, but I thought that was a beautiful scene, very well done. But skipping forward, Rogue is mad as fuck. She skips the funeral because she got somebody to find, and that's Gyrich. She's got to find him because he might lead her to Trask, and Trask is the Sentinel guy. And man, when I tell you, she is on a rampage. She runs up on Thunderbolt Ross and his little secret, a top secret or whatever base, and he's like, "I ought to be fine. This is supposed to contain the Hulk." Which, if anybody didn't know, yes, X-Men is taking place in the actual Marvel universe, so there are other heroes and superpowered people. And this is going to lead to a question, a very big, good question that people should be asking later on in the episode. And that question is this. All this shit's going on with mutants. Where are the heroes? Right? That Genosha literally just got, like, smashed. Where are the heroes looking for justice? Right? Or trying to find the people, as you said, who were trying to find the bad guys that did this? It's a good question, needs an answer. But Rogue rolls up and is like, where's Gyrich? And like, and that's when he says, like, I thought y'all were supposed to be heroes. They're like, no, y'all got rid of her. Now you got to deal with me. And I'm like, shit. she is in her no fucks moment. Am I right?
Yeah. Which part of me was just like saying just slightly. Like I'm like, fuck yeah, Rogue, but chill out a little bit. Some of these people don't deserve this. They're just clocking in for work.
No, that's their problem. Is their job, unfortunately, or what for whatever, however you want to put it. This is, mind you, this is the 90s X-Men. So the comics were in a somewhat different place, but in other non-mutant comics, they don't really talk about how people hate mutants. But it's a reality in this world. It is, anti-black racism times 100. You know what I'm saying? Just hated and feared, and it's a pervasive attitude. And we don't see it outside of the X-Men comics, but it's true. So, you know, Thunderbolt Ross thinks he's got, you know, he's protected. He's not. But she's trying to track down Gyrich, right? And that leads her to a secret base at a cabin. I'm assuming somewhere up north, Canada, Alaska. It's probably Alaska, where she encounters Captain America. And so you mentioned Cap earlier and how people are you know, giving him the business. I think rightly so, but I want to hear what you have to say about it. Cap basically is just like, look, I'm looking for Gyrich too, but like, you know, I'm going to get to him before you do because I feel like you're going to tear him apart. And she's like, oh, I'm not going to, I want to know where this motherfucker is, but, you know, Trask is. And so for a minute, they're working together. And we see, you know, she kind of takes his shield. And then when she finds out, like, oh, he's in Mexico City. Okay, cool. Let's roll out, Cap. You know, because she basically says, hey, if you're Captain America, what about the mutants? Are you gonna defend them? And he doesn't really give a good answer. And then when she says, let's roll out and go get this motherfucker, he's like, I can't. My hands are tied. It would look bad if I were down there. And that's where the fake ass ally bullshit is exposed. Like, look, this is not MCU Captain America, right, Ladi? It's not MCU Cap. Yeah. This is 90s Cap. 90s Cap was a little bit more with the program governmentally than other iterations of him. Definitely Steve Rogers' version isn't like from the MCU is not like that. So he really is just like, hey, if I go down there and start busting heads in Mexico City, it's gonna reflect badly on the government. Why? Because people don't like mutants. They can't be seen. We even see earlier in the episode, President Kelly's like, I can't be too friendly with you guys because of anti-mutant sentiment, and I'm trying to get reelected. And if I don't get reelected, the guy that gets elected instead of me, he gonna hate y'all even worse, and he gonna do worse than I do. So you got mutants with the back against against the wall, under attack. So-called allies, you know, acting like they care, but actually not doing a fuck thing. And none of the non-mutant heroes are out there trying to find this. I mean, so, Ladi, you get why people are like, fuck this Captain America. He sucks. He's John Walker.
He's Captain America at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
He's Captain about to do a not a fuck thing for mutants. That's what he is. Let's be serious. Let's be real. He was like, I would if I could, but I can't, so I ain't. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool and all, but like that don't fucking help me at all. You know, that's why she threw that fucking in the shield.
Yeah, and that's because at the end of the day, he is, like he said, he's not Steve Rogers. He is Captain America. It is very unfortunate, but he does have a point. I'm not defending him. But what I'm saying is that what he says is actually true.
No, yeah, I know. I that's the thing is, I understand that. He's got the uniform on it. You know, he can't go rush down there. But bitch, take your shit off and go roll up. Like, right? Take your shit off. Take that shield down. You don't need that damn shield. Take your uniform off. Put on some fatigues. Ride out. If you down for the cause, but you ain't down for the cause, right?
Like you talk good.
Yeah, he talked good, but he ain't about it.
Yeah, that's why I said he's not Steve Rogers. He's
not the MCU Steve Rogers, who I'm certain will roll out in a heartbeat. You know that John Walker wouldn't. I don't give a fuck what y'all say. He wouldn't, but Steve Rogers would. But this is a different Cap, and you know this. Remember I said there were some themes in here. There are some underlying messages to take away from this, and in this particular case, it is allies, not people who so-called allies will flake on you. You don't need allies. You need accomplices. You need people who are going to put themselves on the line, to go to bat for you. That's an accomplice, not an ally. And so Steve sort of came up short here. Ladi, we also had Roberto coming out to his mom about being a mutant. Which, I mean, come on. This is about being queer. Let's just be clear about this, right? Everybody understand his nervousness about telling them who he is an allegory for being gay, just or trans or whatever. That entire sequence. Now she was like, okay, yeah, we knew that. Cool. You're a mutant. All right, cool. So that part, nice, right, Ladi? Like, all right, cool. All right, mom, she's forward thinking. Then she's like, but I'm gonna need you to stay in the closet though because money. So Ladi, I was like, this bitch right here. I know Mama DaCosta was like, yeah, I'm gonna need you to stay in the closet though because we rich and we trying to stay rich though. Ladi, what'd you think about that bit?
I knew that was coming. She's like, it's a business. We don't want the shareholders to know that we have a mutant as of this. And I was just like, of course that was gonna happen. She's like, and now she's like, yeah, by the way, you see that little girlfriend of yours? Yeah, you can't never see her again because she's a mutant. And we don't want you to be around mutants. Not only is it an allegory to allegory of being gay, it's also an allegory of dating a black girl, a white guy dating a black girl, or vice versa,
or in this case, having a lesbian or a gay man having to pretend like this is their best friend and not their boyfriend or girlfriend. It's
not even pretending. They're telling you don't even.
You can't even. You can't even. Yeah, it's real. Look. Remember, I don't want all these messages in my comic book stuff. Man, get the fuck out of here. This shit is so baked into it. You cannot separate this. You cannot separate all of this shit, this woke shit, from X-Men. It is in there. It is in the DNA. So, all that being said, look, the X-Men get a message from Trask. Come to Madripoor. I'm gonna tell y'all who's really behind this shit. Like, y'all want to know? I ain't want to destroy everybody. They made me do it. So the X-Men ride out, but first they go pick up Rogue and have a really nice little, moment between Nightcrawler and Rogue to let her kind of deal with the grief of losing Magneto and Gambit, which was a really cool scene. And then they go out to Madripoor and they confront Trask and Ladi. What do they call this? The villain origin story for Rogue? Was that fair?
The villain origin story for Rogue?
Yeah.
No, I won't say it's the villain. I'll just say it's Rogue. It's Rogue becoming anti-hero. She's more becoming like the Punisher, where her compass still points good, but it's not pointing. It points north.
Chaotic good, boy. Very chaotic good.
It's slightly west.
Yeah, she used her powers on Gyrich to find out, basically to find out about Trask anyway, and she wasn't playing around with him. But they confront him, and he's like, "It's Sinister, and Sinister had me do this." And they see all this technology that Beast is like, "This is light years ahead of anything. Like they're building new kinds of Sentinels. What the fuck?" And then they find out that Operation OZT. They learn, and it's Operation Zero Tolerance, by the way. Which is an exterminate all mutants situation. And so Rogue's like, "Oh, you can't tell me nothing else? Okay, cool. Bye," and drops the man off of a roof. Which I was like, "Oh shit, she is for real. She done playing with anybody. No, she's not Captain America. She is not gonna try to save lives." But to find out that he is in fact one of these new Sentinels, and he's a human turned Sentinel, and proceeds to whoop their ass. Is that a fair assessment? He beat them like a drum. Like everything they had was not working against him. You had Morph turned into Quicksilver, not fast enough, right? Wolverine, not fast enough. Gets smacked silly. Like everyone's just getting.
A lot of
he was just he was getting it in. like left, right, and center. And seems like all is lost, but Cable rolls up and kind of stops him. And, you know, he's like, I got to tell y'all who's really behind this. And of course, that leads us to finding out that Magneto is actually still alive. And he's being held by the true mastermind of all of this. Because we see Sinister confront Bastion, a character I am not aware of, but I've since learned a little bit about. Apparently, he's kind of a cyborg of sorts or something, but he's Sentinel based. He's Nimrod based, I think. So he's from the future or some shit. I don't know. It's some weird shit. But he, in fact, is running Sinister. Sinister is working for him, oddly enough. And he's kept Magneto. He's got Magneto alive and in prison. And of course, his, with an inhibitor collar. And he's planning some big shit for the X-Men. In particular, to let the world know that Charles Xavier is, in fact, alive. So, shit's going down. That's all I'm trying to say. It's about to go down. Ladi, there was a lot more action in this episode, so not as much stuff to discuss, but really more of like just plot moving forward. How are you feeling about this show so far? Are you looking forward to this 3-part finale?
Yes, I am. I'm pretty much looking forward. I'm really enjoying what I've seen, what I'm seeing, what's setting up, because there's, of course, somehow got a spy satellite to see somebody on the other side of space or another dimension. I call cap on that.
Well, they said they hijacked the satellite that the X-Men were using to communicate with the Shi'ar. So he's been getting regular updates. And plus, remember, okay. I think he's from the future or something, so probably this is not a big deal. That's why the Sentinels, the Omega Sentinels or whatever the fuck they call them, are advanced like they are. That's why Trask was able to go hard like that, because of Bastion. But Bastion definitely has the intention of killing all mutants, and in particular the X-Men. So yeah, they're about to go through it. I'm feeling it. They're about to really go through it. Can Magneto get out of this? What's Charles Xavier going to do? What's Storm going to do? Because they were not in this episode. We've got many questions to answer. So overall, excellent episode in my opinion. Great setup episode. And this 3-part finale should be ridiculous. Looking forward to it. So anyway, I think that's all of our thoughts for this episode. What did you guys think about it? What did you think about what we had to say? Get down to the comment section, leave your thoughts there. And of course, you can always hit us up. supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com, blerd_force1 on Threads and Instagram, super_not_funny_show on TikTok. While you're down there, do us a favor, hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff helps to grow this channel, helps more people to see videos just like this. All right, thanks for joining us on this review. Come back next week. We are going to review X-Men 97 episode 8 called Tolerance is Extinction Part 1. Should be huge. So until then, I've been Mo, your comment extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by the anime expert, video game designer, and lover of all things superhero, my good friend Ladi. And we'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you.